you to part 2 of the student orientation and to the CUNY School of Labor and Urban Studies, a school dedicated to public service and social justice. Before we get started tonight, we'd like to cover a few housekeeping items. We ask that everyone remain on mute unless speaking to the group. We will be posting information and links in the chat throughout the orientation. Please make sure you click the chat on the bottom of your screen to see the information posted. We also invite your questions. You can use the chat throughout the orientation to post any questions you may have. If you have not done so already, please include your assigned program code along with your name, your first name and last name on your Zoom virtual name tag. We have put the program codes in the chat for you to refer to as you make those changes. Lastly, the orientation is being recorded. We'll share the recording with you after the event. We also have an outstanding team of professionals here tonight who will support you throughout your journey at SLU. We'll take a moment now for my colleagues to introduce themselves.
Hello, my name is Aaron Lenchner and I am in tech support and AV. You probably won't see me much, but I'm always in the background.
Hi, good evening, everyone. My name is David Unger, and I am a program coordinator for the Undergraduate Labor Relations and Labor Studies certificates.
There is no Diana.
Hi, my name is Irene Garcia Mathis. I am the academic advisor for the Labor Studies graduate programs. Welcome.
Hello, everyone. My name is Joe Montalentino, and I'm the academic program coordinator and advisor for both the Community Leadership Certificate and the Public Administration and Public Policy Certificate. Welcome. Thanks for coming.
Good evening. Welcome all. I am June Cumberbatch, and I'm the advisor for the BA in Urban and Community Studies.
Hi, nice to meet you. I am Maureen Lamar. I am the manager of the Labor Studies programs. Welcome.
Hi, everyone. Welcome. My name is Michael Reimer. I'm the coordinator of the SLU Writing Center.
Hello, everyone. My name is Nicholas Padilla, and I work for the IT department as an IT assistant.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Orson Barzola. I am with the Office of Admissions.
Hi, everybody. Good evening. My name is Padraig O'Donoghue. I'm the manager of student support here at the CUNY School of Professional Studies. I want to welcome you all.
Hi, welcome everyone. I'm Priscilla Jabouin and I'm your career specialist here at SLU.
Hi all, glad you can join us. My name is Samina Shahidi. I'm the academic advisor for the Urban Studies MA program.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Steve Greenfeld. I am the program manager of Urban Studies, and welcome to you all. So glad you're here.
Thank you to all my colleagues. The theme for this year's orientation is Resilience and Radical Imagination. In just a few months, the world as we know it has changed. Both the pandemic and the racial justice protests over police violence on Black communities and Black lives has led us to not only question what has been, but to radically imagine what could be. To not only uproot the old systems, but to work to transform them into something new. And at the same time that this radical imagination is happening in the world around us, you have chosen to go through a personal transformation with us. You've chosen to go through a personal transformation with the CUNY School of Labor and Urban Studies. And we are so honored that you have chosen to go through this journey with us. There will be many things that will contribute to your transformation. It may be your study of labor, urban, and social justice issues confronting our city and our nation. Your professors, who include some of the most distinguished scholars, the staff, the resources, and support services here at the school, most importantly, your connections with each other. And yes, I know we're living in a time of distance learning classes, Zoom meetings, face masks, and social distancing. And it may feel difficult to stay connected. But we encourage you to make connections with each other, with SLU faculty and staff. It is these connections that would help you to succeed at SLU and to transform the world around us. To create the world we deserve, we must continue to be resilient. We must continue to fight for justice and the resources our communities need. I urge you to stand up to be counted in the 2020 census and to have your voice heard in the coming elections. Complete the 2020 census today and ensure that you're registered to vote at your current address. As a demonstration of our collective resiliency, we're going to work as a group to write a poem together. I'll turn it over to my colleagues, Orson and Michael.
Hey everybody, so right now, this icebreaker is a crowdsourced poem that Rochelle had mentioned. We just dropped a link, a Google Doc into the chat. Please click on the link. When you do, you will see 5 fields. Please take a moment to read them all and then choose which two to write a brief answer about, just a few words each. After you do this, please click submit. Please take a couple of minutes to do this. Once you have done this, if you are willing to help us recite the poem, please type your first name into the chat so that we know that we can call you. So Michael should be sharing screen. All right, if anybody can't see the link, it is a Google Docs link posted on the chat.
Okay, this is fantastic. We have a bunch of responses. 2 more just came in, another one. Wonderful, 23 responses, 26. So I'm gonna go ahead and open up the responses, and I'm gonna start us off by reading the first section of the poem. So I'm just gonna read I am from, and then all the responses. And then I'll pass it on to someone to do the same for the next piece of the poem. Everyone ready? Here we go. I am from the Lower East Side, Avenue D, sun and the mountains, the beach and moneyed, stone benches and ball courts, clouds and mountains, kitchens and mountains, Antigua and Harlem, the Hudson River, Hudson Valley, a farm, a small town, the ocean and the mountains, New York, New York, Chicago and Massachusetts, Canada, Delegue, Ecuador, Manhattan in Puerto Rico, the Bronx, hardship, water in Chicago, Bushwick, St. Barbara's Roman Catholic Church, Brooklyn, New York, water, flowers. Green grass, plenty of birds, Brooklyn and Harlem, Brooklyn and Queens, New York, the sunny city of Tampa, Florida, and the backyards of my neighbors, babkas and candles burning, New York, New York, New York, an industrial city with poor air, the Bronx. Do we have a volunteer to read the second piece of the poem? If you could just type your name into the chat or just unmute yourself and start, that's okay too.
We read our response or like all the responses?
All the responses under I am strongest when.
All right, I can do it.
Thank you.
It's a little hard for me to see. I am strongest when we are fighting together for justice. I am strongest when clear-eyed and supported. I am strongest when people stand for their rights. I am strongest when I am with comrades. I am strongest when I am supported. I am strongest when seeing people learn. I'm strongest when I'm thinking. I'm strongest when I have helped someone. I'm strongest when I am rested. I'm strongest when I am with others. I'm strongest when I work with others. I'm strongest when I have the support of the people I love. I'm strongest when I'm reading and learning. I'm strongest when I feel supported. I'm strongest when I am fighting for a cause bigger than myself. I'm strongest when I have my loved ones' support. I'm strongest when I'm with my family. I'm strongest when I've completed a CrossFit workout. I need more of that during this quarantine. I'm strongest when I am connected to my creator. I'm strongest when I am free to be myself, when I am proud of what I've done. I'm strongest when I am my authentic self. I'm strongest when I am able to conquer my challenges. I'm strongest when I am surrounded by family. I'm strongest when I'm being a wonderful mother, wife, and friend. I'm strongest when I'm speaking my truth loudly. I'm strongest when I'm around my community. I'm strongest when I'm with my people, when I don't have to prove anything. I'm strongest because I survive. I'm strongest because I pray, when I pray.
Thank you so much.
Hey.
Do we have a volunteer for the next part of the poem? You can just, if you want to read, you can just unmute yourself and start.
I'm inspired by nature, my daughters and wife's caring hearts, workers, militants, and unity, students, resilience, the people who struggle, those who came before, people empowering themselves, bravery, my sister, community solidarity by others, my friends and family, love at times when they feel hate, progressive thinkers who are willing to think outside the box, my faith, people that put others over themselves, then those fortunate who strive for excellence, my mother, when really progressive candidates defeat incumbents, I love it, perseverance, Maya Angelou, my mother's strength.
Wonderful, thank you. If you want to read if someone would like to read the next piece, please go ahead and unmute yourself and start.
Good afternoon. I am challenged by conservative ideology, indifference, the people who don't, empire, those who are distracted by media and don't learn how to empower themselves to make their lives better, fear, my own and others, my family, to be alone, anxiety, the pursuit of constant betterment of myself and the world around me, negativity, denial, and lies, my learning challenges, systematic barriers, the state of the world, everything about this presidential administration, injustice and unfairness, when I see injustice, feeling like there is never enough time in a day, learning something new, the unknown about the future. I am challenged by my own beliefs and about obstacles, my identity, how many ways there are of being active, new information when facing cancer.
Thank you so much.
Welcome.
Who would like to close us out? Go ahead and unmute yourself and you can start.
I laugh when children play. I laugh when something is funny. I laugh when I have joy. I laugh when music. I laugh when I'm a part of a community. I laugh when I am comfortable. I laugh when people get hurt in movies. I laugh when I am with children. I laugh when I'm with friends. I laugh when corny jokes. I laugh when I feel happy. I laugh when animal videos pop up on my social media. I laugh when something obscene happens. I laugh when I get to see my nephews and nieces on screen. I laugh when life is funny. I laugh when I feel in the present moment. I laugh when others are happy.
Thank you so much.
Thank you to all who participated. We can all be inspired by our collective poem. I don't know about you, but I feel a sense of resilience listening to some of the words that you have put in that poem. There was the thread of community solidarity, Some of the most important connections you will make will be with your classmates and a team of professionals that will support you at CUNY SLU. To provide you with an opportunity to begin to make those connections, we'll move into program breakout rooms that will be led by your advisor and program coordinator. Program breakout rooms are listed on the bottom of your screen in the chat for your reference. If by any chance you end up in the wrong breakout room tonight, please let your advisor or coordinator know, and we'll be sure to get you in the right room. We hope that you enjoyed meeting your classmates and look forward to continuing to make those connections virtually and in person when we meet again. Now that you had the opportunity to meet your classmates, we want you to hear from some current SLU students about best practices for succeeding in a distance learning environment. I'll hand the floor over to my colleagues, June Cumberbatch and Irene Garcia Matis.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, everyone.
Please send all the questions that might have to mind. Please, the questions that you might have for students, please post them in the chat. Miss June?
Yes. So, okay. So now we have, we want to provide you with some best practices about distance learning from the masters of these distant learning students. Some of our students ourselves, we would like to introduce Brian, Ariam, and LaToya.
Hello.
Hi. So this is LaToya, and we had Brian, and now we have Ariam. Is Ariam on? Okay. So from these are our continuing students, and we want them to help enlighten us into what you figured out regarding our best practices for working from home and attending class. So LaToya.
Yes.
Give us your idea of going to school remotely and working remotely at the same time. What you have discovered and some best practices.
Well, for me, what I discovered was communication with your instructors, your professors is key to a successful remote learning experience. As long as you can communicate with them whatever issues you have, I've discovered that my professors have always been lenient in understanding that while it is difficult and trying at times to balance work and remote learning, they will help you find ways. So if you're going to be a few minutes late or for whatever reason get hectic, it will. So my best advice is to always be.
Thank you, LaToya. Now I'll pass it over to Irene.
Yes, I think our next student is Ariam. She might be somewhere in the limbo of the internet. But in the meantime, Brian I'm killing his last name, but it's Florentine in the MA of Urban Studies. Hi, Brian. Brian, is he also in the? Okay. So we just have one student. What is happening? Brian Florentine. Okay. I'm going to have, is Marley still here? Marley, can you hear me? Hello. Can people hear me at least? Or is it me that people are not hearing me, or?
We can hear you, Irene.
I
Oh,
can hear
okay.
you, yeah.
Okay, so we are.
Yes, we can hear you.
Thank you so much, everybody. It seems that we have a couple of students that are not connecting just yet. My question to Patrick will be, should we keep going with the program and come back to this in a few minutes? Or should we keep just with LaToya?
I think it'd be great to hear a little bit more from you, LaToya, but also from other folks who have tried to be balancing things this last 5 months, things that you've learned, things that worked for you, things that you could apply to this fall semester. We'd love to hear from you. If you want to share something, put your name in chat.
Sure. For me, planning is key. And so I found that with going, and I'm sorry for the background noise. I'm actually at the mall. I was trying to make it home before getting here, so I'm sorry for any background noise you guys might hear. But I find that planning is key. And so with the syllabus, it's helpful to get ahead of what it is you're doing in the class and knowing that everything you do leads up to a final. And so if you plan accordingly, it makes the educational experience a little easier. While it is challenging, it is easier to plan it that way. And so that way, if you have a project, like I had to work from home, and this past semester was my first time ever doing online schooling. And it was very stressful. And I found with the communication part, like I previously stressed, is the key. And planning ahead and knowing what was coming next helped me to balance work as far as in case any last minute projects came up, I knew I still had the time with family and everything else to get everything done.
Thank you.
Thanks so much, LaToya.
You're welcome.
We actually have Ariam here somewhere. Ariam, can you tell us how you've been managing, what did you learn with living with family and having to work and having to study at the same time? What are the best practices that you might want to suggest to people?
Sure. So first of all, hi, everybody. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh.
We can't see you, but that's okay.
I think we've lost them temporarily.
Oh, okay. I think like most people have been working from home lately, and maybe a lot of people have children in the house, and they need to be schooled. Does anybody want to share what has been working for you in terms of working online, some sort of working online and having to attend to your family at the same time? What have you done? Anybody?
Yeah. Irene, so can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
Okay, there we go. So thank you, guys. So one of the things that I found that has been helpful has been communicating with my family. Prior to starting semester, just let them know, listen, guys, I'm going to be taking classes this semester, Thursday nights and Thursday, whatever the classes are, so that they're aware. Especially, younger child that we have in the house, we want to make sure that she doesn't feel like she's being brushed or like we don't want to pay attention to her. So I've been mindful about that and in making sure that everybody's aware of my schedule, so that this way they know when I'm available to them and they know when they're available to me. So I found that to work with my family.
Thank
Great.
you. Thank
Great
you.
idea.
We have, I think we can actually go to our next guest, current student, Brian. Brian, how you been managing being in school and being an activist at the same time? We just saw from Latoya that people are in the road and they need to connect. So as an activist, what has worked for you in terms of technology, strategies, anything?
Well, good evening, everybody. And one thing that works for me is that for our group and as we organize, we have Zoom meetings every Thursday evening at 6 o'clock. So we always stay connected that way. We use mailers. Like for example, we got mail last week, sort of dispelling some of the myths and facts about our current organizing effort. And on the social media front, we use GroupMe as a group chat so everyone can stay connected to it. It's very accessible. Like you just download the app on your phone, and it's not something that's sort of like invasive and too sort of like intrusive to what we're doing. So giving ourselves that opportunity to use those tools available to us, as far as other avenues, we use interviews. Like I did an interview last week with Jacobin about organizing effort that's gonna be coming out soon. We do writing. I did writing for the SLU blog last December about the organizing effort. So just using as many sort of tools and avenues available to us is one of the big things that we do. And for me as a student at the same time, I always make sure to give myself a little breather when I can, because it's a lot of heavy work and it's a lot of like reaching out, front-facing work, community advocacy and things like that. It can be very overwhelming at times. So one great thing about our organizing effort is that it's all inclusive. So it's not just like one person doing everything. Everyone is working together in conjunction. So when in those moments where I may feel tired or my peers may feel tired, we sort of like, sort of take a little natural like step back and for a bit. So we manage our energy, give ourselves that self-care. And then from there, we come back into the work accordingly.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. Anybody wants to jump in and share a best practice that has worked for you, or if you have questions for the panel?
So currently, my daughter also has a part-time job. She's no longer in school right now. She's doing a part-time job. And we kind of share the same space, but we try not to disturb each other. What I try to do, sometimes I would log on for work a little bit earlier so I can start and get my rhythm going. And that helps, as well as sometimes I might stay on a little bit later so I can get stuff completed. I also try to get up often because sometimes sitting at the table at the desk does hurt your body. So that's how we deal with it. In terms of noise, sometimes we have to remind each other that, yeah, we're in a meeting or we're on the phone, but because maybe my children are a bit older and they understand, I don't really have a problem. Like I have to sit with them. Like when she was in school, she would practically do her work in the bedroom and stuff, and we won't get into each other's spaces. I know for one of my coworkers, it was very difficult because she had a younger child, so she actually resigned from the job. But thankfully, I didn't have to do that. So, yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
I have another question for Ariam. Ariam, are you hearing this?
Yes, I'm back.
So I think you have a couple of pointers in terms of talking to family about the tasks that you have, but also logging in advance just to make sure that the technology is going to be working.
Yeah, that's definitely been something that throughout the 2 courses I've taken thus far online, I've noticed. When you leave it to the last minute, either everybody's jamming in to try to get into the class at the same time, or you tend to have these kind of connection issues. So it's good to kind of sort them out ahead of time And if you are having issues, it gives you time also to reach out to the professor so that they're aware that you're having these connection issues and that you will be, joining the class. So that has been something. The other thing that I noticed is really just keeping in contact with your professors and advisors. If you notice that something has come up or, just last minute you're not able to do something or whatever it is, that you can really reach out. SLU, the entire faculty, I've got to say from the start, has been nothing but supportive. When you've needed something, you can just reach out, and the professors, especially during everything that has been going on, have been extremely open to speaking with students and finding out, meeting them where they are, and helping them to complete the courses. So I would say that that's really been helpful.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I have one, like what has been the major challenge for everybody? Whoever wants to take that question.
I would just say for me has been kind of finding that balance now, because you are kind of like, I'm mainly home. I do have to go out to the field to perform some tasks for my job, but I'm mainly home. So it's really finding that balance of giving yourself time to dedicate to studying, to dedicate to, your family, to dedicate to whatever other hobbies or things that you need to do for self-care as well, so that you're not over, burdening yourself and just kind of burning out. So I think that for me, that's been like the biggest challenge, and really in just communicating again with my family, communicating with my advisors, with my professors, that I found that I've been able to manage that, by having that support.
Thank you. Brian, do you have something on this?
Yes, I'd like to add as well. One thing that I think has been really helpful for me as far as like maintaining my sort of like school work balance is my advisors. I talk with Samina fairly regularly, and Samina is like a godsend for me. Like she always makes sure to check in, make sure that I'm making sure I'm doing my work well. If there's things to talk about, she always gives me that opportunity. And for me, especially like with grad school, like my first time in grad school and having this experience, like Samina's been there with me every step of the way, just making sure that I'm on the right track, making sure that all my work is there, making sure that I'm in a good space as well. And it's made the work more manageable for me. And as I balance like my regular work day and all the other things that I'm doing, knowing that I have that support from school is very helpful for me as well.
I agree. Samina is a godsend for everybody. And so is Miss June. Miss June, do you have another question for Latoya?
Let's see. So what I would like to ask all of them is that listening to each other's best tips and options and stuff, do you see your upcoming semester when we will still be offline being a little bit, at least a little bit easier to manage?
Wow.
Ariam is laughing.
I'm laughing because I'm actually going into my capstones now.
Oh boy.
So it's very exciting, but at the same time, I'm like, oh boy, because I'll be with Professor Luce, at least for this upcoming semester. So I'm very thankful for that. But I'm also used to being able to come in and having a chat with her face to face. And so for this particular, for the capstone, like, it's a big deal. And so, I'm a little, I would be lying if I said that I'm not a little nervous, but again, because of what I've already experienced, like, I know it's no way but forward. Like, I know that it's okay, but yeah, with the capstone, I'm a little.
You'll get through it. You'll get through it.
Thank you.
Latoya, any thoughts?
Well, for me, I think it'll be a little easier just because I know I have the support of the faculty. I also have a daughter, but she's a little bit older. She's starting high school. And so I've already communicated with her, and she knows the importance of school. And so what I did was I made it a challenge. And so she has her little work area, I have mine, and we're competing to see who will have the better grade. And so that will keep me focused and keep her focused. And if I win this semester, she's gonna cook for me. And so if I with that and knowing I have the support of my family and the staff, I think it'll be a lot easier, because it was very difficult in the beginning because it was new for me. And with the assistance of the school and my family and understanding of my job, thankfully, it made the transition a lot easier for me. And I think it'll only get easier going forward.
Great, great. Brian, any last thoughts?
Well, I'm 1 semester away from the capstone. I'm heading into research methods now, so I'm a little excited about it. So I'm really looking forward to see how, like, you know, I think this is gonna be the first semester really fully online. So it's gonna be a fun little challenge to see how I go about doing the research, getting my topics together, and really making the work sort of pop in a way that's really accessible and manageable. So it's gonna be a good challenge, but one I'm really looking forward to.
Great, great. Thank you all. We welcome all the ideas and the tips, and we hope that the whole cohort of students will take a page out of your books. So without further ado, we would pass it on to our Student Services Manager, Padraig, who will carry us into information about student services and resources.
Hey, bye everyone. Nice meeting you, and welcome.
Hi, talk to you soon.
Thank you, Latoya.
Bye, guys.
Thank you.
Latoya, thank you so much. And thank you to June, to Irene. And I just want to give props to Brian and to Ariam. Do you want to say one sentence each about your student leadership? You're freshly elected to our SLU Student Union. We're very proud of you. Do you want to mention anything about that process and the semester ahead?
Sure, I'm very excited about it. Being part of the steering committee right now, and we are working on the Constitution for the SLU student government. I mean, it's really a great thing to be a part of something that is just getting started. And so I'm looking forward to, speaking with a lot of you throughout this semester. We're going to be, sending out some bulletins out. And so looking forward to really hearing from the student body and whatever it is that we're able to come up with to really help out the students throughout this current situation and for future.
And one thing I'd like to add as well is that it's really going to be exciting getting to really get connected and more sort of interactive with the students at SLU. Like this is going to be my 3rd year here. So just really being able to sort of like build those connections out with people and work on the students' behalf is going to be really exciting and an opportunity I'm really looking forward to being a part of.
Thank you so much. We appreciate that and your leadership along the way. I'm Padraig O'Donoghue, the Manager of Student Support and Retention, and I just want to talk to you about our student support services. And I want to also urge you to stay with us. We're going to have a faculty member join us at the end of this, a wonderful faculty member. He'll be great to hear, so please stay with us. But for now, I want to introduce a video that describes both career services, the Writing Center, our wonderful Writing Center, and library services that come to us through the Graduate Center and Mason Brown. So without further ado, Nicholas, do you mind pulling up that video? And Career Services is represented by Priscilla Jabouin, and Michael Reimer is our coordinator of the Writing Center.
We don't have volume.
Bear with us for 1 or 2 moments and we'll get back to that video.
Hi, I'm Priscilla, your career specialist here at the School of Labor and Urban Studies, and I have Margaret here who just graduated from the Masters of Arts in Labor Studies and who's working as a national organizer for a Green New Deal. Why would you actually encourage current SLU students to come to career services and book an appointment?
Yeah, so I mean, I think regardless of, if you're in a current position and maybe not incredibly happy with it, or if you're just feeling like you're ready for a change, that career services really helps to identify what it is that might make you happy to be doing. And then, Priscilla helps provide the tools to make that happen. So yes, so my piece of advice is to go and see Priscilla regardless of if, you're looking at your resume or reflecting on big life questions about your direction of your career. Because she's definitely willing to help you regardless of what level you're starting at.
Thank you, Margaret. And again, congratulations on getting hired during COVID.
Thanks.
Hi, my name is Molly Noel. I'm a student at SLU. And I had the privilege of hearing 3 students speak about their experience at the Writing Center. And one young lady spoke about how they had a lot of workshop and how beneficial it was to her during her years studying at SLU. So I knew right then and there that I too would be going to the Writing Center. I don't like to write. I avoid it if I can, and including procrastinating. So going to the Writing Center at SLU has been very beneficial to me. I've never submitted a paper without going to them. Even when you don't know what to write about, it's a great way to go and brainstorm and figure out what to do. I've attended all the workshops that they had during the fall semester when I started. I would highly recommend it to anyone. My classmate has mentioned that I never had submitted a paper unless I go through the Writing Center, and their writing is phenomenal. So I would highly recommend anyone that's coming in to try the Writing Center.
Research is a big part of what we do as students at SLU. Today, I am here to share my library experiences with you. At first, navigating the library resources was a challenging experience for me. My first attempt to find articles for my research project came up with over 2,700 results. I must admit, I was intimidated, frustrated, and the whole event was time-consuming. This experience forced me to make an appointment with Mason, the librarian. Mason was able to help me save time by teaching me the importance of using keywords in the search bars, which helped me narrow my search. My new journal search result was now less than 200. He also helped me with smart tips on ways to read various sections of articles to see if they interest me. I was also a part of group sessions, which were productive, but I mostly enjoyed the one-on-one sessions that helped me focus on my topic so that I could present well-researched papers for my professor.
Hi, I'm your career specialist here at
We actually have Margaret, Marley, and Kerwin here with us today, and we're opening it up to the new students to ask questions about their experience using our services, the career services, library, and writing center. So if you have any questions for them, please share it in the chat, and they're here to answer your questions. Or you can ask your questions live if you like. Yes, so you will be getting these contact numbers. You'll be getting a follow-up email, Patrick. They'll be getting a follow-up email, and in the follow-up email, you'll have the contact information for both myself, Michael, and Mason. So this is a question for library services. They want to know, how are library services done virtually?
Yeah, I can take that for sure. One nice thing about using the Grad Center library resources is everything is accessible from off campus. You can access all of the databases, a huge number of ebooks and virtual texts, all of the journals and research articles that you would be able to access in the building, you can access from off campus anywhere. So we are working overtime, especially nowadays, to make sure that everything that you could access in the building, as much of it as possible, you can access it virtually. And there's information about that on the library website, or you can email me directly, and I'm more than happy to walk you through the steps of how to do that.
Great, thank you, Mason.
Mm-hmm.
I know I'm here to talk about the Career Center, but one thing I would add to that was one Friday night I was feeling very stressed about my capstone and was looking for the right keywords to search something. And on the website, there are like 24-hour librarian chats. And I definitely did use that. It connected me with a librarian in Virginia, and they were very helpful in finding articles for my capstone at that point.
Great. So if we don't have any direct questions, I have a question for you, Margaret, just around your use of career services. If you could share with the students what initially motivated you to come to career services, and also what was the biggest benefit you got from it?
Yeah, so I think I was originally interested in coming to career services because I was working part-time and knew at the end of my time at SLU, I was looking for a going to be looking for a full-time position. And at the time was not confident in my resume, feeling like the formatting was still from high school, and all of these other elements. And I think going and seeing Priscilla, it was both, she helped with both thinking through like, where would I actually want to work? You know, what types of jobs have I enjoyed? What types of, you know, aspects within those jobs are best suited to my skills? And then actually we went through my resume, updated it, and practiced interviewing and all of these things that I think were key to me actually getting a position.
Great. And what would you say was the biggest benefit? Because I want to also highlight to everyone that Margaret actually found a job during COVID-19.
Yeah. And it's interesting too, because the job is sort of related. It's like right now we're working on, you know, what would the stimulus package look like type of thing. And definitely, you know, you're not interviewing in person. All of the questions you can expect are somewhat similar, but how you might, you know, answer them in relationship to what your work style is at home, what your work style, you know, how you manage your time at home. There are differences that I think shifted around COVID. And so I think in particular, I knew that interviewing was something I wanted to work on because I had applied to the same place before and hadn't gotten it in the last round. And so I think it was really helpful to practice interviewing, and even with like, how do you set up your computer and where you should be positioned, I think were key in helping me stay like calm during the interview, which the folks who interviewed me commented on, feeling like I was prepared and like I was definitely calmer than other times.
Great, that's awesome. Thank you, Margaret. Writing services, there's a question for you. How are writing services provided virtually?
When you sign in and you sign on, you can let them know what number is best to contact you on, and it's like interactive. You can actually write at the same time. They can see your paper if you submit it. They can correct it with you. You can go in and type in at the same time as they're showing you stuff. It's easy. I've done it even before everything was virtual, when I couldn't make it in person. And it's pretty easy. You click on the link, you sign in, they call you, you submit your paper. You can talk if you want to have video, you can also have video, but I usually just do audio and have my paper on the screen, and we discuss it that way. We both can see it and we both can edit it.
And I think I can jump in. Actually, for me, I've used a lot of the resources with the center. Um, I have just like I've used the one-on-one sessions. I've also used where sometimes I don't have the time to do the one-on-one session, but you
Can email it.
paperwork, and within 24 hours you get feedback
Right.
On your paper. So sometimes you really don't have the time to sit there and do a one-on-one session, but you can also upload your paper and you get feedback. So those are great sessions. You also have group sessions, you have one-on-one sessions. So it's pretty, it's easy for everybody who has a paper. Yeah.
And you can actually reach out to them even before you have anything written down. Let's say you don't know how you want to formulate the paper, what you want to write about. Just talking to them, they can ask you and reading the prompt that your paper has to be about. They can help you brainstorm to get there.
That's true.
Great, thank you, Marlene, Kerwin, and Margaret. We have a question here. I'm not sure who would like to answer this. I'm far away from it at this point, but how long is a capstone project, such as number of pages?
So I'm not doing capstone next semester, but I'm doing capstone the following semester. But I have done capstone as an undergrad, and you have a research method class prior to capstone, which prepares you for capstone. In terms of pages, I'm going to be honest, it's like a little over 20 pages, but it's not 20 pages right away. The research methods sort of prepare you for capstone. So the same paper that you use for the research method, you use for the capstone. So most of the work is done. Once it's capstone, you're actually doing the research. So you just add into the research method. So the professor I had, he was incredible. It was broken down in parts. So every week or two, you had like 2 pages to write. So by the end of the semester, you had like 15, 20 pages already done. And then, so now when I'm going into capstone, it's just the ending part, which is just the research part. So it's not like a rush to do 20 pages. It's broken down so everybody can handle it.
Great, thank you.
Yeah.
Are there any other questions from the students? And while we wait for questions to come in, I was wondering, Mason and Michael, if you guys wanted to add anything about the services that you offer. Something that you would like students to know.
Yeah, I can jump in super quick. One of the main things that I do is one-on-one appointments with students. And under ideal circumstances, those would be in person. But now I can do sessions over the phone, over Zoom, any aspect of the research process, whether it's coming up with a research question or turning an idea into an actual researchable question, what database to use, how to efficiently and quickly find articles in that database. Any of that, I'm available to help you one-on-one as many times as needed over the course of the semester, your time at the SLU, whatever. I'm more than happy to work one-on-one.
Perfect, thank you, Mason. We have a couple of questions that came in. So one of the questions was, how many pages for the master's capstone? Can anyone answer that one? Oh, someone already did. Thanks, Samina. And Margaret, there's a question for you. The question is, were you job searching while you were in school?
The short answer is yes, but the longer answer is that I didn't actually apply to that many, in part because I, was working on my capstone in a couple of classes that sort of writing that many cover letters and things was a bit challenging. So it was I was planning to do it more on a rolling basis. And I happened to get one of the two that I'd applied to kind of at the same time. So it was more that I was looking out for things that I particularly was interested in doing rather than kind of trying to do a large, pool of applications.
Awesome. And I also want to point out, Margaret also knew exactly what she was looking for, so that helps also focus the job search. When you know what you're looking for, you don't have to be spending a lot of time sending a lot of resumes because you're more focused. We have a question for students, but I wanted to go to Michael. Did you want to add anything about the Writing Center that you'd like the students to know?
Sure, thanks, Priscilla. I just want to add that we have a great program of remote workshops this semester. We'll be following up with a link to sign up for those workshops, but they're a really good way to make a first contact with the Writing Center and also to be in a group of fellow students. Thanks again.
Great, thank you, Michael. So there was a question here, and this is for current students. The question is, do you feel your professors are understanding of background noise during remote learning?
I think that like in my classes last semester, as we moved to remote, our professors were very understanding. Like, because a lot of us were traveling from work, some of us were actually on the clock trying to like navigate work and school at the same time, and they were very accommodating, very understanding. And as we sort of participated and as we were in the classroom, they gave us a lot of leeway and a lot of understanding in our immediate environment and the noise that came about it. And as we were able to really get more acclimated with it, the easier it became for all of us as well too.
And we were in the same class, so I know. So we actually had the same experiences. They very much, they think a lot about adult students who have families. You come in directly from work. Sometimes you may be late. So they're very, very, very accommodating in terms of helping you navigate your private life with school life. So yes.
Great, thank you, Brian and Kerwin. Well, there's another question that just came in. Will there be any relaxing socials during the semester? Meet and greets, networking socials? So I can answer to part of that. We are organizing events for students in terms of the career services every Tuesday from 5:30 to 7 p.m. And you can show up late or jump off early. I actually host a job search support group. So that's a way to connect with other students and support each other in your job search, especially during these times with COVID. I'm also going to be sharing with you, we have a LinkedIn group where I share different current opportunities, current career resources and events. And your student services are also going to be offering you some socials and events online for now. Did anyone else want to add to that before we wrap up?
The workshop at the Writing Center are a must. They have some wonderful workshops. I would recommend anybody, if you have a chance, to try to take.
I just wanted to add that we were also looking to hear from you as far as what your interests are. If there's a number of you that have specific interests, we would encourage to help set up the space and support you in whatever you like.
Great, thank you, Julman. Any last minute comments? Anyone have any last minute questions for us before we go to the next section? For the weekly job search support group, I'm going to actually just copy the link and put it into the chat, and then you can just jump in. For now, there's no registration. There might be registration in September, but you just jump on the call Tuesdays at 5:30, and we're meeting, our next meeting is September 1st. All right, Padraig, I'll let you take over.
Thanks so much, Priscilla, Mason, Michael, and our wonderful students, Marley, Kerwin, and Margaret. Thank you all for sharing your experiences. I also want to just mention, related to Mason and the library, we will be getting all of you library credentials through our IT department. So you'll be getting those credentials presently in the coming days and before the semester begins, hopefully. Look for them, and we'll hear a little bit more from IT in a few minutes. I just want to mention a few services that you can access at SLU for accessibility and disability services. We collaborate with the Graduate Center also. If you do want to connect with these services, you just contact accessibility@slu.cuny.edu. We connect you with Claire Wilson of the Graduate Center, who will work with you and your professors related to granting you an accommodation. Please be in touch with us if you are seeking such an accommodation. Related to counseling services, I want to mention, especially during this time, it's a taxing time, we have counseling services. You should reach out to them. This is the website that we're looking at right now. There are resources there for everyone, including links to the 10-Minute Mind, which is a meditation app that is free to you as a CUNY student, but also other resources, and then connecting with our counselor at wellness@slu.cuny.edu. Please visit our website related to all student services and interacting with the school. If you can't find something, just be in touch with us, and maintaining good contact with us will make things better for you and better for us. We want you to succeed in this endeavor. I want to turn it over now to Rochelle Pender-Cuffey for some information about Spark.
Thank you, Patrick. So SLU, as part of CUNY, is committed to creating and maintaining a safe and respectful culture for all of our students. To that end, CUNY requires that all newly admitted degree and certificate students complete the Sexual and Interpersonal Violence Prevention and Response course. You don't have to remember that, also known as SPARK, before the start of the semester on August 26. Some of you may have seen it at this point in your CUNY First to-do list. You may have completed it. Great job. If you have not done so at this point, please log into your CUNY First or log into Blackboard. The course takes about 30 minutes to complete. It provides you information about sexual and interpersonal violence, how to prevent it, how to report it, as well as resources that are available should you need support. So please check the link in the chat to our website that includes information about Spark, but also one of the easiest ways to find it is through your CUNY First login under your to-do list. Please make sure that you make your best attempt to complete this course before the start of the semester on August 26. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Rochelle. And I want to reintroduce Irene Garcia-Mathis related to our LGBTQ and questioning community.
Hi again. I just want to give a big shout out to any LGBTQ sibling brothers and sisters that are in the audience tonight. And just to encourage you to look at the information that we have in the webpage and make contact with Alice and with members of the staff. We are looking forward for you to join us, fostering community engagement for everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, Irene. And another piece is veteran services. If you're a veteran or if you're using veteran benefits, you should be in touch with the veteran@slu.cuny.edu web email, and we will address it as soon as possible. If you are using those benefits, make sure to be in touch ASAP, because the semester is upon us, and that can take a little time. But feel free to follow up. And I'm going to reintroduce, there's a couple of questions related to IT about IDs and email. And I want to introduce Nicholas and Jose, who are going to talk to you about the IT service desk.
Hello, everyone. My name is Nicholas Padilla. And on the IT service desk page, You will find various links to guides to assist you with starting your fall semester remotely, such as logging into your student email, which is right here. We also have some guides on logging into Office 365 and also using your virtual desktop. Something that we're currently offering as well is a laptop loan program, which is right here. This allows students to borrow laptops for the entirety of the semester. All you'll have to do is just fill out this laptop loaner program form, send it back to our email address, which is right here at ithelpdesk@slu.cuny.edu. And after you send us that completed form, the next step will be to schedule an appointment just so you could stop by on site and pick up the laptop. And we could also give you a quick tutorial on how to use the laptops as well if you need further assistance. We're currently open on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 8:30 a.m. till 4:30 p.m. And you can reach us via our email address, which is right here, or you can call us as well at 646-313-8440. And for the library, since we received a lot of questions about that, some of the guides on how to access the library are right here. And this is just a video, if you want to watch it, on how to log in using the credentials we'll be sending to your SLU email. And the credentials for your SLU email will actually go to your primary email address that is on your CUNY First account. So if you have a Gmail or Hotmail account that's connected to your CUNY First account, your SLU credentials will be sent to that email that's your primary email address on CUNY First. And if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to ask.
Thank you, Nick. Actually, there's one question related to that form, and Amandi has had some challenges filling out that form. Amandi should be in direct touch with the IT desk.
Correct. So in situations like that, you could just email us directly at ithelpdesk@slu.cuny.edu, or you can call us and we could do a little one-on-one session so we could help you remotely. And then I'll actually be putting this.
Thank you, Nick. And yes, be in good touch with the IT Help Desk. We have a wonderful team, and Nick is one of 5 folks who support this work. We are really fortunate to have them, and be in good communication if you have any issues, and they will respond very swiftly. I now want to introduce Samina Shahidi, who's going to talk to you about, I know many of you are our union brothers and sisters here, and we, as a staff of the City University, are union members ourselves. And Samina is going to talk to you about our union, the Professional Staff Congress, and actions that lie ahead.
Hi all, how's everyone doing? Is your head going to explode? I hope not, because we have a really interesting conversation coming up. As Padraig said, you are at the School of Labor and Urban Studies. And you're here for a reason. You're an organizer. You're also someone who is creative and is in the world, and we are in a really important conversation right now. And so to this end, I just wanted to talk to you about CUNY's current summer of struggle. And that summer of struggle is going to connect to the fall of struggle. And what does that mean, and how do you connect to it as a union, as union brothers and sisters? So instead of just lecturing, I just thought, well, why not meet you at the amazing place that you are? I think Brian Florentine was a great example of the many hats that CUNY SLU students wear, and the many conversations that they're engaged with. We just had a great conversation in our SLU URB MA group, as I'm sure every group has had. So just quickly, some questions that you may want to consider and that you may want to answer in your own way, and we'll try to get that out to you. And these questions will help you to figure out what the CUNY Summer of Struggle is about. So the first one, what do you count as the most urgent needs for the CUNY student community? And this is as someone who's a student, maybe someone who has family and friends at CUNY at CUNY programs. I feel that I think all of us can testify to the fact that all of us are touched by CUNY in New York City in many different ways. And so with this question, what are your thoughts about what we need to do going forward? And I suggest maybe some creative and fluid responses, a photo, a videotape of a short scene, a song or a poem that represents an issue. That's one of my favorite kinds of things to do. Who is the Professional Staff Congress at Union? Who belongs to this union? Can you name any other unions that are represented by CUNY workers on our CUNY campuses? I know some are in this very room. What fields do these workers occupy at CUNY? Here's a history and policy question. Define the New Deal. Why does the PSC CUNY contend that we need a new deal for CUNY? Those in the social and economic policy classes of Fall 20, you'll be able to answer this question. Are you interested in our own CUNY academic and historian Steve Breyer and CUNY Rising Alliance leader Jamel Henderson? They're going to be leading a teach-in on Monday, August 24th, and all of us can log on and hear their people's history. Really exciting. What's happening on August 26th? Yes, it's the first day of classes, but can you connect to the day-long and night-long campaign at CUNY on August 26th as a student, a worker, a family member of another CUNY student or worker in New York City, a community organizer, and as a member and or a supporter of Black Lives Matters? Will you be paying a billionaire's tax this year? No? Who should be paying in New York City a billionaire's tax this year, and why? And finally, do you connect your union and your community organizations to any of the PSC CUNY's campaigns? Show us how we connect through your output. I've put the link for the PSC CUNY website up, and Padraig has as well. So take a look at it, come to some of these events, keep in touch with me. I'm happy to talk with you, and thank you for your time.
Thank you very much, Samina. Food for thought right there. I now want to introduce Deepak Bhargava, a distinguished lecturer in urban studies. Deepak is a policy expert on issues of poverty, economic justice, racial equity, and immigration. Prior to his time here at SLU, Deepak was president and executive director of Community Change and Community Change Action for 16 years, two of the premier national organizations supporting grassroots community organizing in low-income communities of color in the United States. We are delighted he teaches here at SLU and excited that he will give you the faculty perspective tonight. Welcome, Deepak.
Hey, everybody. Welcome on behalf of the faculty. I'm so excited. We are so excited to have you joining SLU this fall. It's really wonderful to have you. And, you know, I'm pretty new myself to SLU. I just completed my first year. I grew up in the Bronx here in New York City. And my father was, for a while, a taxi driver. And I went to school, was able to go to college on a scholarship that my father's union provided the family. That's kind of what enabled me to get where I got. And so really SLU feels like home to me, second home, a homecoming. And I hope it feels that way to you, and all of us on the faculty, as well as the staff, are committed to making it be that way and feel that way. So we're living in a really, a time of enormous change and rupture in the world and the things that we knew. And I know that's producing a lot of fear and anxiety but it's also in its own way no better time than to be in school and to try to make meaning of what's happening in the world and to try to imagine different and better possibilities for how we organize our society, our workplaces, our economy. This is the time to be doing the work that you're going to be doing in school with us. There's my favorite Indian novelist, Arundhati Roy, wrote a piece called "The Pandemic is a Portal," and I just want to read you a short bit from it. She wrote, "Whatever it is, the coronavirus has made the mighty kneel and brought the world to a halt like nothing else could. Our minds are still racing back and forth, longing for a return to normality, trying to stitch our future into our past and refusing to acknowledge the rupture. But the rupture exists, and in the midst of this terrible despair, it offers us a chance to rethink the doomsday machine we have built for ourselves. Nothing could be worse than a return to normality." Historically, pandemics have forced humans to break with the past and imagine the world anew. This one is no different. It is a portal, a gateway between one world and the next. We can choose to walk through it, dragging the carcasses of our prejudice and our hatred, our avarice, our data banks and dead ideas, our dead rivers and smoky skies behind us, or we can walk through lightly with little luggage, ready to imagine another world and ready to fight for it. So my students last year, in the midst of the pandemic, really walked through that portal. And that's my hope and my dream for all of you. They did that in two ways. One is they used the class to make sense of what's happening in this world right now. I got some of the most amazing papers you believe about universal basic income, about how workers can organize in this new economy, about reparations, about how to end police violence. It really gave people a chance to engage with passion and rigor about how we make this world anew. The second opportunity that my students discovered is they built community with each other and with the larger SLU family. So I had students who asked for extra classes, and we did extra classes. It was kind of unbelievable. I had students who stayed after class with me and with each other for half an hour or an hour to talk about what's happening in the world and to connect with each other, to figure out how they could support one another with mutual aid. So my hope for you is that you meet this moment in history and being at SLU with imagination and with hope and a sense of community. And I think if you do, you're going to find this to be an incredible place to continue your education and to make change in the world. So welcome on behalf of the faculty. We're super excited to have you and stand ready to learn and pass this time with you.
Thank you, Deepak. We're so fortunate at SLU to have so many dedicated faculty like Deepak who demonstrate a commitment to our students and to help us, as Deepak says, walk through that portal and imagine the world anew, imagine with hope and a sense of community. So it's my hope for you as well. So in keeping with our theme, resiliency and radical imagination, we'll now have a reading of a poem that embodies that theme. I invite Zenzele Green to the floor.
Hello, good evening, everyone. It's so wonderful to see your faces. I'm going to be reading A Litany for Survival by Audre Lorde. For those of us who live at the shoreline, standing upon the constant edges of decision, crucial and alone. For those of us who cannot indulge the passing dreams of choice, who love in doorways coming and going in the hours between dawns, looking inward and outward, at once, before and after, seeking a now that can breed futures, like bread in our children's mouths, so their dreams will not reflect the death of ours. For those of us who are imprinted with fear, like a faint line in the center of our foreheads, learning to be afraid with our mother's milk, for by this weapon, this illusion of some safety to be found, the heavy-footed hopes to silence us. For all of us, this instant and this triumph, we were never meant to survive. And when the sun rises, we are afraid it might not remain. When the sun sets, we are afraid it might not rise in the morning. When our stomachs are full, we are afraid of indigestion. When our stomachs are empty, we are afraid we may never eat again. When we are loved, we are afraid love will vanish. When we are alone, we are afraid love will never return. And when we speak, we are afraid our words will not be heard, nor welcomed. But when we are silent, we are still afraid. So it is better to speak, remembering we were never meant to survive.
Thank you, Zenzele. Thank you to everyone who joined us for tonight's orientation. We recognize that this poem may bring up thoughts and feelings. And the truth is, the current moment that we live in brings up many thoughts and many feelings. Throughout the semester, we'll be offering opportunities for you to connect and share with your fellow students what comes up for you. Please look out for these conversations and join us. The faculty and staff at SLU are here to support you moving forward, even virtually. Please don't hesitate to reach out if you have questions, comments, not sure about something. I want to welcome you again to the CUNY SLU community and to the CUNY SLU family. We look forward to a great semester together. I wish you all a good night.